Fortnite is an ever-changing game, and with all the crazy new stuff that Epic Games has put into the Battle Royale experience, some stuff, it's been a little too good. Today, we're going to be going through Fortnite history, and we're going to check out items and weapons that were banned from the game because they were way too good. Let me know which of these was your favorite and you missed so much. And let's start off with the Brute, also known simply as the Mech. The Brute was perhaps the most controversial aspect of Chapter 1 Season 10. Introduced with patch 10.0, the Mech completely took over Fortnite, and Epic Games themselves flat out said they were designed to help bad players get kills, which, that means the good players completely dominated with them, right? The Mech could hold two people at once, a driver and a gunner, and it had a whopping 1,250 HP. Now the driver, they could dash, they could stomp, and do this giant super jump to smash through anything in its path and deal insane damage to anybody in its way. Then, you have the gunner and the driver that had access to some very powerful weaponry to grief enemy players even more. The Brute was easily the most talked about aspect of this era of Fortnite, and it was nerfed several times before being completely deleted from the game with patch 11.0. Honestly, good riddance. The Infinity Blade. Who remembers this? It had the most controversial addition to Fortnite throughout all of Chapter 1. Introduced in the patch 7.01, the Infinity Blade was a melee weapon that would always spawn in the same place every single match, and there was only one of them on the entire map. But if you were lucky enough to get your hands on it, you were almost unkillable if you knew what you were doing. You would instantly be given 200 health and 200 shield. You would have a melee attack with insane range that did 75 damage, and it instantly destroyed any structure you touched. You regenerated your health and shield at all times. 1 HP per second. You had a 30% movement speed boost. You had a giant leaping lunge attack, and you instantly got 50 HP back every time you off somebody. It was insanely overpowered, and it was heavily criticized by pro players because of how broken it actually was. The Infinity Blade was vaulted just a few weeks after it debuted, and now it can only be found in creative mode. Next up is the Light Machine Gun. I remember when this gun was first added to the game, and it pretty much replaced every assault rifle and SMG at that time. Added with patch 3.5.2. The light machine gun featured a 100-round mag, a very high fire rate, a relatively quick reload time, and it could deal 25 damage to the body and structures, which made it super easy to rip through enemy structures and shields without ever having to reload. The LMG has had a pretty strange history throughout Fortnite's life cycle. It gets adjusted numerous times and even temporarily removed from the loot pool before finally being vaulted forever with patch 15. Now, this thing just filled way too many roles. It made the game way too easy. I do believe you can still use the LMG in creative mode, but if you're waiting to see it in Battle Royale, you're probably going to keep waiting. And speaking of keep waiting, the scoped revolver. This is actually an interesting addition to the game. It got a lot of usage before it was actually removed. It was an epic and legendary handgun. It had a 2x scope, and it had 100% accuracy when aiming down the sights. There was zero bloom with it. Added to the game with patch 7.20, the scoped revolver dealt 42 to 44 damage to enemies and to structures. It had a pretty quick reload animation, and the fire rate was pretty nice. Players with a good aim could abuse the accuracy of the scoped revolver rather well. It was officially vaulted with patch 9.0. It was an excellent weapon that the community loved, but it has yet to return in almost 3 years, which means it's probably not coming back. Another one that's probably not coming back is the drum shotgun. Extremely similar to the EVA 8 from Apex Legends, and a lot of players don't think that that was a coincidence. Added with patch 9.3, the drum shotgun was a full auto weapon available in common, uncommon, and rare rarities, and while it held a whopping 12 shells at a time and it fired quickly, the damage and the range were rather low, so it made it difficult to use effectively, especially compared to other shotguns at your disposal at that time. Now, the drum shotgun was vaulted with patch 10.20.2, but it has popped up every now and again in LTMs. It was later superseded by the Primal Shotgun, but the original drum shotgun has been stuck in the vault for a very long time now, and I honestly don't think it's going to make a comeback. There just wasn't enough reason to use it over other shotguns. Now let's get into some really good ones. The Proximity Grenade Launcher. This weapon was pretty difficult to use properly, but once you figured it out, man, you could decimate entire teams from distance. That obviously made it one of the most hated weapons available. Added with patch 9.21. The Proximity Grenade Launcher was a semi-auto, could hold 2 shots at a time, fired explosives at a pretty good range, and it automatically exploded if it got within a certain radius of an enemy player. Yeah, that's how it was. And it was vaulted with patch 10.20.2 due to it being way too accurate, way too hard to find, which gave those who did find it an obvious advantage. The weapon remains in the high explosives LTM, but it hasn't returned to normal loot pool in over 2 years. Who remembers the OG double pump? Did you actually get to use these? People have been asking for this combo to come back for years, but come on, it's not going to happen. When Fortnite first hit early access, there was an exploit that allowed you to rapid fire the pump shotgun by holding 2 of them at once and swapping in between them with shots. You bypassed the pump animation. It allowed you to deal insane DPS. Plus, the original pump shotgun had range already and stopping power, so if you weren't running the double pump, you were at a disadvantage. Epic made several adjustments to swap times in order to nerf the double pump exploit before they finally just deleted it altogether around Season 4. Every once in a while, people will figure out new ways to kind of do the double pump again, but it's never as strong as it was back in the day. It never will be. It never lasts long before Epic gets rid of it again. Trust me, the OG double pump is never returning. How about the OG crossbow? Not to be confused with the Fiend Hunter crossbow. The original Fortnite crossbow was one of the most love it or hate it weapons in the history of this game because of how hard it was to use effectively. Added with patch 3.0, I know, a long time ago. The crossbow was available in rare and epic variants, had unlimited ammo, and it could deal 100 plus damage with a single headshot. Now, it took a long time to get used to the drop and the travel time, but if you were good with it, you could destroy entire teams from a distance without ever making your location known. The OG crossbow was vaulted with patch 4.0 almost 4 years ago, never to be seen again outside of creative mode, which makes it one of the longest vaulted items in the history of Fortnite. Now let's talk about a sniper rifle. The semi-auto sniper rifle, to be exact. Throughout the time I played Fortnite, the semi-auto sniper was either way too good or completely useless. And the fact that Epic Games could never figure out the balance was largely the reason it was deleted. The weapon was introduced in patch 1.6. It was actually vaulted twice, first in Season 6, then again in Season 10, and it featured a 10-round mag. It had a high fire rate, but higher than most of the other snipers, but the damage was inconsistent. And there was a time when it dealt over 150 damage to the head, but there was also other times where it barely did anything, and since it ran on heavy bullets, which were harder to find and couldn't be carried in huge quantities, well, wasn't much reason to use it. The semi-auto sniper has been absent from Fortnite for quite some time now, and while similar type weapons have appeared, the original is probably never coming back. Here's one that I guarantee 99.99% of you never got a chance to use. The ZAPOTRON. One of the, if not the first banned weapons in Fortnite history. It remains a mystery to this day. Legendary sniper rifle. It was added to the chest in patch 1.6.3, but it was deleted with patch 1.6.4 without any official statement from Epic Games, which led many to believe it was never supposed to be added in the first place. You would charge it up, fire a powerful shot that would deal 150 damage, or you could fire it in burst mode for less damage per shot, but for more, I guess, suppression on the enemy. Footage of the ZAPOTRON is extremely rare because it was in the game so briefly, and since Fortnite wasn't very popular at that time, hardly anybody was actually recording the footage of stuff like this. But the legacy of the ZAPOTRON lives on, and maybe one day, Epic will actually add it to the weapon sandbox. How about the CHUG? I was pretty shocked to hear that it was deleted from the game because it used to be one of the most important items in the game. The CHUG debuted in patch 2.3. It was a consumable. It took a lengthy 15 seconds, but it would completely fill your health and shields to max, made it extremely valuable for healing up after a tough fight. It was one of the most sought-after items of Chapter 1, but with patch 11, it was removed from the loot pool. Now, different variants of the CHUG have popped up since then, but the original CHUG, it's gone forever. I honestly can't help but feel kind of sad about it because I had a lot of memories with that. Smoke grenades. Now, these I don't feel sad about. Smoke grenades had to be one of the most annoying things in the game, and nobody cried when they were deleted. They were one of the original throwable items in Battle Royale, and they did exactly what you would expect. Create a big smoke screen. Now, given the fact that you could just build out people's smokes, I mean, hardly anybody picked them up, and in Chapter 1, Season 3, they were vaulted. They appear from time to time in unvaulted events, but never more than that, and I think it's best it stays that way. Only 3 left. The double-barrel shotgun. I remember when this thing was first added to the game, and it drove the community bonkers. Very high risk, very high reward. This boomstick was available in epic and legendary variants, had some of the highest damage per shot in the entire game, although the range and the reload times punished you hard if you missed your initial shots. Get good. It was added to the game with patch 5.20, but it was vaulted with patch 7 due to the balancing concerns. Now, yes, it's popped up a few times since then in LTMs and special locations on the map, but I don't think this one is ever coming back in its full form. People figured out how to abuse it rather quickly, and from that point on, it was the go-to weapon for aggressive players. If you weren't using it, you were probably making a mistake. Who remembers the machine pistol / OG submachine gun. Now, the original SMG is now referred to as the machine pistol due to some unused game files, but you had to be playing the game for a long, long time in order to have used it. Introduced in patch 1.6 and vaulted in patch 2.5 over 4 years ago. This thing had a good fire rate, had moderate magazine, but low damage and pretty bad accuracy. After the silenced SMG was added, this weapon was removed, but the OG players still remember it as one of the original additions to Battle Royale. I know it wasn't very good, but it was nostalgic, and if you actually used it, you're an OG. Tell me in the comment section if you did. And the final one that is banned from Fortnite, probably never to return, the guided missile. Probably one of the most insane weapons ever. I mean, it completely took over Fortnite when it was patched in update, I think, 3.4. Single-shot rocket launcher. But after you fired it, you would leave your body behind and manually control the rocket to its destination, at which point it would deal some hefty damage. It allowed you to build yourself in a box and just go sit in a corner somewhere while controlling this giant rocket to target somewhere far away and erasing them from the match. The guided missile was nerfed many times until update 6.21, where it was vaulted for good. It was one of the most insane weapons to ever appear in Fortnite. While it did create a massive balance problem, man, was it fun to use. Videos of it still give me crazy nostalgia. There you have it. Those are things that have been banned from Fortnite for one reason or another, and we'll probably never see them again. If you guys enjoyed the video, take a second, drop a like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and if you want more Fortnite content, let me know in the comment section. I'll see you soon.